A new bombshell report is accusing a California registered nonprofit named Energy Foundation China of quietly advancing CCP-aligned climate policies on U.S. soil. The group has allegedly funneled millions of dollars into U.S. environmental organizations and academic institutions backing green initiatives that undermine U.S. energy independence and boost China's strategic grip on solar, battery, and EV supply chains. To a certain degree, I'm surprised to hear this. I don't think it's so quiet when you have China in the name. But you know, Liz, that there are people here who have been specifically sent here with the mission to infiltrate organizations and advance an agenda from China if they're not here to also spy on us as well. This is part of what was wrong with having an open border and just allowing anybody to come into this country without doing any kind of background check or having accountability. So here we are in a situation like this. China certainly doesn't let our people go infiltrate and advance agendas over there.
First of all, this has nothing to do with the border. I'm quite confident that these people have come in with all kinds of accolades, and they're going to be working at prestigious educational institutions, et cetera, and we welcome them with open arms. And to your last point, I kind of sit here and think, with the torrent of stories that we've seen over the last couple of months of China being mischievous, which is a kind word, in our country and stealing things, et cetera, I hope we're doing the same thing to them. But I have no confidence at all that we are. Look, this is not at all surprising. Over the last 20 years, as the green movement gained traction, we have read from time to time about China funding these initiatives. Why would they do that? Well, one of the enormous comparative advantages that the U.S. has versus China is an abundant supply of, guess what, cheap fossil fuels. When I say abundant supply, we're talking 150 years worth of natural gas and coal and probably oil. I mean, I have read recently of gigantic new discoveries to be made of oil and natural gas in Alaska, for example. So that doesn't benefit China because they don't have that. And this is like literally one of the few things we have that they don't have. So, of course, they're trying to undermine it and have been hard at work at trying to do that for, I'm guessing, 20 or 30 years.
And we brought it up in the context of the trade deal earlier. One of President Trump's negotiating points, something he gave China, was the fact that they're still allowed to have Chinese students come study here, Brian.
Yeah.
They wanted that. They want to be able to have that access. I'm not necessarily saying that is how they come and infiltrate these organizations, but it could be one way for sure.
Well, it's one way they harm us is they steal our stuff.
Right.
Another way they harm us is they come here and they plant stupid ideas, and stupid people buy them and advance them because they come with millions and millions of dollars. I mean, it's like China knows it can't win an energy race because it doesn't have the resources. So what it wants to do is make everyone else in the world wear cement shoes when they run the race. That's what they're trying to do in the United States.
Good analogy.
And to put a cherry on top, at the same time that they're doing that, they're importing all the coal they can get from anywhere they can get it, and they're building coal plants. So they're funding the Rocky Mountain Institute so that liberals can tell us not to use fossil fuels, and they're the biggest dang polluter on the planet, building a coal plant every week. That's what China is doing. And there are people who consider themselves intellectuals in this country who buy the whole thing. It's crazy.
They knowingly pick up and run with that. They don't even have to pay for it. They just pick it up for free and run with it because they're Marxists and they want to destroy the United States of America as we know it. Any negativity that you hear from leftists and liberals, thinkers, people in academia about America, it's probably coming from somewhere. For example, Russia disinformation. The word fracking, it is hydraulic fracturing. That came out of Russia based on Harold Hamm's book. And they came up with the word fracking because it sounds like a curse word. And they did that on purpose because they were afraid of the plentiful natural gas that was coming out of our shale revolution. Something Steve Moore said on the program last night that was astonishing to me. And so every time that you hear somebody talk about the existential threat of artificial intelligence, China's behind it. And all of these liberals and academia, because you won't hear it from technology giants, but it is all to, existential threat. if we continue to develop AI, it's going to expel the extinction of the human species and doom. It is all, this is Steve Moore, it is all being funded by China because China wants to take over the AI realm by the way as we took over the internet. So it's really subversive. There are so many of these left-wing groups that are trying to shut off our artificial intelligence and robotic development so China can lead on it. So everybody has an agenda. And so when you hear these words coming out of their mouth, say, why are you doing that? Where's that coming from?